Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am doing an album share. This is actually a road trip along the west coast of North America. So it started in Vancouver, then we took the ferry over to Vancouver Island, did Victoria, then we took another ferry to come back to the US this time, and then we drove along the coast from Washington State almost to California. Anyway, this is the start of the trip. It's going to be in 3 parts, I think, because it's 2 albums long, this trip. So I'm going to break it into 3 videos, otherwise they're just too long. Okay, so this is my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. They came to join us on this road trip. So we lived in Vancouver and White Rock at the time. So this is the White Rock on the beach in White Rock. That's where it gets its name. This is the giant pier. And there's big starfish when you go out there and look down on the rocks. Huge starfish, and green and beige and orange, I think. Anyway, so we took them there. Their first trip to visit us, living out there. And right along the waterfront there, there's train tracks. And because you can hear the train coming, you can stand right at this rail, and you are so close to the train, it shakes your body. So anyway, we often like taking pictures of people standing with the train the moving train right behind them. So we did that. Just a fun thing to do. This was the start of the trip. There they are standing in front of the White Rock, but it was cold and windy that day, so she was freezing. And it might surprise some of you that there are palm trees in Vancouver. Anyway, I was surprised to see them myself, but there are. And monkey puzzle trees, too. I'd never seen them before either, till I lived there. Anyway, this is a beachfront page. I just did a frame with, I like to frame photos, and then I did a tiny one for the little picture, because there was nothing but cement over here, or pavement. This paper had a border on it, and this one had a big border too, so there wasn't much to do on this page. And I must tell you, this is from travel album number 1 on my website. Number 1 and 2 is the other part of the trip. So these are much older pages that I just found. This trip was taken maybe 15 years ago. So they are older pages, and our scrapbooking has changed since then. So it's just a trip down memory lane for me today. When they came to Vancouver, we went visiting family. We went to my sister's, and we did take a road trip up to Whistler with them. So just a Cricut corner here. This page has beautiful corner on the page, on the paper. There wasn't much to do. And this is the old days of silk flowers and punches. Didn't have a lot of Cricut cartridges in the beginning, so just used some flourishes and that. Anyway, fun old trip. Okay, I was doing, this is a lookout on the way up to Whistler. So I tried a panoramic photo, and I did get a sun ray in there somehow. This is Shannon Falls. And it's a park as well, a national park. So this giant tree, the roots were bigger than us. Anyway, very simple page with a panoramic photo, so it was just because there was a butterfly on the paper and this paper, I just used butterfly ephemera. Very simple pages. Oh, we stopped in a shop at Whistler and we were just having fun trying on hats. They had all kinds of crazy, silly hats, so I took some funny pictures of them. All right, so this image in Design Space was very similar to the images on the paper. So I just did a great big one in the middle and embossed the background on it. And then I just placed my photos all around. So enjoying Whistler. Not much to that page either. I haven't even looked at these. So, okay, so I guess this is the start of our road trip. Packed the car with everyone's luggage. There's 5 people's luggage there. This my sister-in-law. She volunteered to sit in the back. And I found out since, because she falls asleep in the car all the time, it's quieter there. She doesn't have to talk. So this paper it was a road trip pad. So it had all this on it. And I just stuck faces in the car windows. This is the Sea to Sky Highway in BC on the way to Whistler. It is just gorgeous. You're driving on the side of the highway overlooking the ocean, so it was beautiful. There's all 5 of us. I guess someone offered to take our picture. Now this is the ferry ride from Vancouver. Well, it's Tawasin. There's a port for ferries. And we did a bit of an island hop. We went to Seychelles, and I can't remember the names of the other islands because it was so long ago. Queen of Nanaimo, it says. That's the ferry we were on. So here's the car lineup. We're waiting. We went in to shop a bit in the building, and then we're walking back while we waited for our ferry. Anyway, I just did a big stripe by just cutting the blue sheet of paper into a dime, like cutting it diagonally, using one half there and the other half over here. Now this paper has maps on it, and that's so I thought it would be good for travel. And the car was blue, so it worked for me. So I found a couple of titles and just double matted these photos to give it a little more pop with bring out the red from the life preserver. There's a ferry boat right there. So these are some of the stops that we must have made. Sturdy's Bay, Pender Island, Village Bay. And we noticed that in one of these ports, everyone was throwing coins. I don't know what the story behind that was, but I found it intriguing, so I took a picture of it. These are the villages, or the towns that were nearby, near the ports. Anyway, I did, this is called a book, this image. It's in Cricut Design Space. The name of the cartridge is Elegant Edges. It has all frames, so I use it a lot. And then it has these, where it's straight on one side, and there's like 50 different patterns on this side. And this was just a scalloped with holes. So I used that for this page, ran my photos in a straight line, vertical line, and then these I just zigzagged with a border here and a border punch on both sides. repeating the paper on both sides. Now, oh, I think this is this is Salt Spring Island. We stayed there, actually, at a spa-type resort. Yeah, we had a cabin, one of these cabins, and it had a hot tub and that, so that was nice. Anyway, this was in the fall. We took this trip in early fall, so the colors were changing, and this paper was just so beautiful with the photos, so I decided I had to use it. So I found a coordinate for this side, and then I used an 8x8 piece of paper on an angle, and in the center to tie the two together. I just used silk leaves stuck around. We weren't as advanced with our clusters in those days as we do now. Anyway, beautiful scenery. Well, this was a farm that had a shop, a goat cheese store there. So we stopped in there and had a rest and did some shopping and had some snacks. So this was a square, a whole square, so I cut it in half and used half here and half on this page. And I did the same with these background papers, cut them both in half. So I have two different backgrounds, and everything was cut in half on this page. And I did a goat just for fun. I embossed them and then inked it. And then these are, I found the cheese title and a goat border. Very simple. And we also went to an apple farm, Salt Spring Winery, and they had apples, actually, an apple orchard there as well. So we all walked off with an apple picked right off a tree, and I hadn't had an apple off a tree in years and years, so that was delicious. So I had an apple theme for this. I titled Fresh Picked, and then I found this beautiful corner image in Design Space. This is a Disney cartridge, this image. They have some beautiful corners on the Disney cartridges. Anyway, there are Design Space links for all these pages. You can copy them exactly, or you can change them around and fix them up to suit your photos. But they're on my website at meandmycricut.com. There's a link below, so you can easily copy them with the links. So here, I love these apple images. And then I had this border, food border. I didn't have as big a selection in those days as I do now. I'm sure I have apples now. Anyway, that was a very pretty border there too. Now, here I don't know where we are here. Not sure. But this restaurant, we went in to eat at this restaurant, and it had this artwork, metal art outside. And I liked, it was fascinating. I think it moved in the wind. So I had my husband stand there, and I took a picture of him. And then we were eating on a patio, and this waiter looked just like Josh Groban. So we asked him to pose if we could take a picture with him. There were float planes landing behind us in the water there. So this paper was just kind of pretty, and the teal color of the copper turning green. That's why I chose this paper. I just loved it with this, and it had a little pop of red like her scarf. So it was perfect in my eyes. So this picture I framed just with a border punch on the top and using little wider mats. When you have pretty paper, you can just make your mat bigger for a pretty frame. And then this is chipboard ephemera that I had. Yes. So a simple page, just clustered the photos with the title. I did cut out these to tuck the photo in. I think I'm losing my voice. I sound a little hoarse. Okay, arbutus tree. I had never seen a tree like this. The bark peels off. I didn't know what it was at the time. When I got home and I saw the pictures, I looked it up to find out the name of it. And I found out that they only grow within a mile of salt water. So that's why I'd never seen them before. But they were just beautiful. They have like rubbery leaves. Gorgeous trees. I loved them. The color of the trunks and the bark peeling. Anyway, it fascinated me enough to take a whole bunch of pictures of it. So I used a tree border on, split it on both sides. And just, it's all photos and great big title to fill that space up there. I just love that tree. We're out, oh, that's that same restaurant probably where we were eating. Yeah. Ganges Fire Hall. I have no idea where this is. Salt Spring. There it is. Salt Spring Island. Oh, more shopping. We're girls. We do like to shop. Anyway, this was road trip paper pad again, so it worked with traffic and trees, and then the coastline, because we were along the coast, so it did work for us. And there's a, I think that's a whale. Yeah, it's a fountain, I guess, of a whale. The girls shopping, of course, whenever we can, and just double matted photos on this paper because the paper itself had so much. This I put on there as a title or a tag up there. And then we had to wait for another ferry from Salt Spring to go to Victoria. So these were different stops along the way with a view. And here's us on the Sturdy's Bay, I guess, on the ferry. And we're off to Victoria. That's where we're going to be going. I don't even know where that bridge is. These two photos sort of melded together. So I thought that was unique. It's never happened to me again in 20 years of scrapbooking. That was different. This paper is just like color book from Walmart, very thin, but you can use it for backgrounds and that. So I thought I'd have some fun. We're on so many ferries. I thought I'd have some fun with this, and I used the Disney Donald Duck and his boat and anchors and ahoy matey sort of thing. And we took a bunch of pictures, my husband and I and my brother-in-law and the two guys. Anyway, we just took a bunch of pictures. So I just had fun with this page, doing the Disney thing. I like those cartridges a lot. They make things fun. And when you're scrapbooking kids' pages, they quite like looking at them. Sorry. So this is now Victoria. It is the capital city of British Columbia. It's out on the island, Vancouver Island. The Parliament buildings are there. They're beautiful. And there's the Empress Hotel is on the way to the Parliament buildings. And this is all planted with red flowers here. It's beautiful there. So I just cut pretty paper that has a large pattern. You can cut it into pieces, and then I matted this and another piece up there and spread them apart on the 2 pages. And I had this beautiful red border. I had 2 of them, so I put them here bordering the column of photos. And Victoria is a port city, so there were float planes going all over the place. And then most people, when they go to Victoria, the Empress Hotel is on this side of the street, and you walk down the street and the Parliament buildings are at the end. But if you just turn right, behind there's a marina, and there's an area of float homes. And I had been there to Victoria several times and never knew about the float homes because I'd never turned right past the Parliament buildings. And they were amazing to see. It's a community of all artists, and every single house is painted top to bottom and decorated differently with all different themes. So I just did a title, Float Home, and then all these different houses are all different colors. I found all these little images in Design Space, and we were posing there. None of us had seen anything like it. Doesn't he live in a float home in Sleepless in Seattle? I think so. Anyway, so this is all a floating dock that these houses are docked to. They live there year round in these float homes. That's a mannequin sitting in that chair. Anyway, funny. It was fascinating. And this one was something. It was purple and turquoise. And this lady loved to garden, so she had planters and everything all out there for gardening. So I did a Disney house. This is Mickey's house, and I did it in purple to go with her house. So this paper was all splashy and that flourishes. So I just did a border all along the bottom. Big image in the middle and a title over here. Anyway, it was something to see. Here's some more of those houses. Each one had a different theme. So I went with the themes. This paper is just a striped background. And then I had this paper, so I just cut it into like as if it were clouds with the birds flying, because there were seagulls around, of course. And so each house had a different theme. This one was orcas, so I did a black whale. This one had a heron in this painting, so I did that. This one was a lighthouse theme with all the fishing boats and that. And this one was a diver's den, it was called. And so I did a snorkeling theme. Just had fun with it and put a title, Creative, because these people were also creative. So they found a community to live in where they're all artists. Thought that was wonderful. Now this is, we're at the port waiting for the ferry to take us to the U.S. And they had this funny sign, hand with the finger, like that, pointing the way to the wait. And so we had too much time to kill, so we were posing for photos with the hand motion there. It was just a silly moment. Anyway, back on the ferry again. So I have this lovely travel pad. It's American craft paper. It came in a box, and I just love it. Still have some. Wonderful for travel images. So these arrows made me think of the hand pointing. So that's why I specifically used this paper. And then I found these images of hands pointing in Design Space, and I just used a border punch on each side of matting that. And it's a very simple page. But it makes me giggle when I look at it because it's a funny memory. Now, I was running out of ideas for doing all these fairy pages. So I started to get silly with them, doing the Donald Duck thing. And this one I did with the mermaids and pirates. It was just funny to do, looking for other ideas and with the ocean. And I put a seagull on the picture here. It was just made me laugh. Anyway, more pictures on there. So I just did a triple border here with store-bought borders that I had. Matted the photos, and I used the pirate and mermaid images from a Cricut. I think it's called Pirates, the cartridge. And then I circle cut the name of the ship is on the lifesaver there. So that's the end of the first part. This will be in 3 videos, so you can look forward to seeing number 2 and number 3 of 3. Thanks for watching. Happy scrapping.